everybody to the Single and Stilettos show. Today we have as our guest Abiola Abrams, and she is a passionate living coach from loveuniversity.us. And I'm so excited to have her here today because she is the #1 goddess that I know. And she's absolutely amazing. And we're so fortunate to have her here today because she's going to tell us how to be sexy on a date without sending out the wrong message. So, welcome, Abiola, to the show. How are you?
Oh, I am fabulous, Suzanne. This is so exciting. You know, I love collaborating with you.
I know. Great. You're so great. So, why don't you tell our audience about your background and how you got into this business?
Okay, so I am a passionate living coach, as Suzanne said. My site for the longest time was known as AbiolaTV.com, the Passionista Playbook. And I'm so excited to announce that now we are loveuniversity.us. And my focus is on love, dating, relationships, and self-worth, your self-esteem in terms of your own relationship history and moving forward to have the biggest, juiciest life that you can. A little bit briefly about my background is that I am an in-demand speaker, coach, and columnist around the topic of love. A couple of the publications that I work with are Essence. I'm an Essence columnist, Essence Magazine columnist. Actually, you can find me in this month's issue. And then I do the Intimacy Intervention column every Monday. And you can also find my love classes on mommynoir.com. And you can find me on the Bill Cunningham Show, where I do love, dating, and self-esteem interventions.
Oh, and I've seen you on that show, and you are awesome because if somebody is in denial, you just give it to them straight, and I love that you do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I come in as the big sister, or, you know, however you want to see it. Someone called it I bring the come to Jesus moment.
You do. I've seen that happen, and you do a great job of it because I think a lot of the people that he has on the show are in denial. They think nothing's wrong with them.
Yes, and that's the crazy thing. I think that I'm able to resonate with a lot of them because I come from a place of non-judgment. That all of us, if you say that you have not been in a relationship where you've been in a state of denial, you are lying. And so we have all been there. And sometimes you hear people saying, you know, their stories and what they're going through, and you're like, okay, you have no good girlfriends because they would be telling you right now that, you know, your life is a hot mess and here's the path how to get out of that.
It's true. No, so that's great. I love that you do that. So let's get into it. So tell us, how can a woman be sexy on a date without sending a guy the wrong message?
Okay, so this is a great question and a great topic, Suzanne. It comes up a lot. People send me their advice questions, and you guys can send your questions to kissandtell@abiolatv.com. How can you be sexy without giving off the wrong signals? There's like people say there's a thin line between love and hate. There's a thin line between sexy and skanky. Okay, and we want to stay on the sexy side of that line, presumably. I think that it starts with, ladies, before you even go on the date. Mm-hmm. What is your energy, number one, what is your energy that you're bringing to this date? That a lot of men tell me that they meet a lot of angry women. Now, I happen to live in New York City, and you look around at a lot of women on the street, gorgeous, beautiful women with everything going for them, and there is this angry energy that is literally like a wall where... Right. If I was a man, I wouldn't approach you. That you don't look like, you know, fun. And I understand that tough things can be going on in your life. And so if you are in a miserable situation, then maybe you need to take a dating time out, heal yourself, work on whatever is going on before you go out and commit a DWD, a dating while desperate. You know,
I love that. That is so great.
That's the first thing. Because another thing that men have told me that they notice it's interesting. I focus on women, but men come up to me and they're like, help me. You know, they want help as well. Because a lot of women, they say when they go to their dating profiles that we list all of the things we don't want, you know, and it comes from feeling so angry and bitter and enraged, and we've all been betrayed and hurt, but that's not what you want to lead with. Don't lead with your betrayed foot. And so if you're on a date with someone, don't unload everything that your ex did to you. Don't unload, how miserable your life is. That's not a positive, attractive feature. That's man repellent.
Exactly. And I think you bring up a really, really good point is about how women, and it's not just women, quite frankly, it's men too, but
right.
My audience is women, so we're going to focus on women,
yes.
is focusing on the negative. It's important to focus on the positive things that have happened in your life. Don't bring all the negative, because then you come across as a negative person, because this person's never met you. So if you bring up all the negative, that's all they're going to see. So it's really important. Focus on the positive. I love that you say that.
Yes, and that's a major positive energy is just a turn on. It's juicy, it's vivacious, it feels good. We want to be around it. So along with that, before we go on to number 2, smile. Your smile is your best asset. If you're look at Suzanne when she smiles, gorgeous. If your pearly whites are not pearly white, go to the dentist, get your teeth done. There's all kinds of things that you can do now, because your smile is what shows people that you're young and fresh and in the game. Okay, so number 2 is how you dress for the date.
Right.
Now, male sexy, what men see as sexy, it's complicated, because what we see as sexy as women is very different than what men see as sexy. We like a lot of accessories, a lot of jangly things, a lot of, for men, all of that is like noise. It reads like noise in their head, like it's
a distraction.
It's visual nagging.
That's great.
Wear something very simple. We're in New York. I'm in New York, where there's a sea of black. Stay away from black.
I agree.
Red or some brilliant color that's going to catch their eye. Think of like a bull, in the arena. And something very simple and body hugging.
Yes. I'm so glad you said that, because stop wearing the drapey, like, moo-moo stuff. That's not going to work.
No, leave the moo-moos at home. Leave the maxis for the 4th date or 5th
I know.
Getting to know each other. Something really great. Some great shoes, stilettos or pumps. You're single in stilettos, or, something that accentuates your legs. Because this is going into number 3, a scientific reason for that. That the hip to waist ratio, men are programmed on a primal level to read a viable female as, seeing that healthy hip to waist ratio.
Yep.
And when you put on those stilettos, it puts your booty right there on a pedestal.
I love that you say that. That's hilarious.
And I don't care if you got a little flat booty like me, or if you have like a pumping booty or whatever it is, you're going to look better in stilettos. And the other thing is that shoes, like really great shoes and a really form-fitting, nice dress, not too tight, not overly done, you're going to walk differently.
Yeah.
You're going to feel different when you move into the room. And so I say, throw on a pair of red panties underneath your dress. Only you will know it's there, but you will move differently in the universe. And when you walk, let your hips sway. Again, this is all on a primal level, saying, here I am. I feel good in my skin. I'm sexy. I'm available.
I completely agree. And I always tell women that the way you walk and the way you carry yourself when you're out says a lot about how you feel about yourself.
Yes.
So treat it like a catwalk. Even if you're not a model, pretend you are.
And this is just good for your everyday life, because you don't get a second chance I always say, leave the house the way you want Mr. Right to meet you. You don't get a second chance. We've all had those situations. You see some great guy and you're like, I don't really look like this. You're coming from the laundry or the gym or whatever. And you're like, you want to go home and come back. You won't get that second chance.
You won't.
And so leave the house, and feel good in your skin and put your best foot forward, so to speak.
I completely agree. And I will tell you, I've tested that out, the walk thing.
Yes.
And when I walk just normal and not trying to have all that confidence, I attract nobody. But I will tell you, when I have that walk, I will tell you, men approach me, they smile, and you have a different energy. And people think that a walk is not that big of a deal. It's a huge deal.
It's a huge deal. With a walk and a smile, you can stop traffic, literally.
And Abiola, you're great at smiling. You have the best smile.
Thank you. Thank you, Suzanne. I'll take that. I will receive that. And that brings me to are we on point number 3? Is it 3 or 4?
I lost track. I was so entranced with that.
So point number 3, you see what just happened? Suzanne offered me she gave me a compliment, and usually as women, we would deflect. Oh, well, no, I just threw this on. My hair is not clean. This is just an old outfit, this old thing, whatever. No. Feminine energy is receptive energy. So when you are a woman who is feeling confident in your feminine power, and this is all what my upcoming book, The Official Bombshell Handbook of Feminine Power, is all about, when you are receptive in your feminine power, that you feel comfortable in receiving. Now, I know that this is a real challenge for many of us, in our generation, particularly because we grew up with our families wanting us to be able to compete with men in business, in the classroom, in athleticism. Okay, the skills that make you a great person in the arena of your profession are not going to be the skills that make you a great girlfriend and wife and make you feel good at home and make your man feel needed. Right. And there's nothing wrong. It's like a controversial statement to say, make your man feel needed. You should make each other feel needed and make each other feel good. And so you've got to flex that feminine muscle. So that means let him plan where you're going for the date. Let him figure it out. He's a man. Let him get out there and hunt and gather, figure out where you're going. Let him pay for the date. Don't jump in and, now you've got, I want to pay half. No, if that's what you're going for, then that equal energy neutralizes the date. There's nothing sexy about that. That says we're friends, we're besties. If you're looking for a BFF to hang out with, then split the bill. Right. If you're wanting him to feel like a man and you feel like a woman, then let him pay. Let him be that man. When we give them room to be a man, a real man will step up to the plate.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And also I tell women, when you do, because I know some women will do this, they'll do that fake wallet grab, but they don't want him to say okay. They just kind of do it. I'm like, don't do the fake wallet grab.
Don't do the reach. No, when I was younger, I used to do the reach. I thought that I had to do the reach. No, do not do the reach. It's not necessary. Just sit there. Sit there. He's getting to look at you and enjoy all of your juicy feminine energy. You're getting to enjoy his masculinity. Revel in that.
Exactly. I completely agree.
Okay, so point number, I'm losing.
It's okay.
All right, people at home, if you are watching, I am a coach and a speaker and a writer, clearly not a mathematician. So, point number 5, you really want to make physical contact with your date. You want to touch him, and I'm not talking about playing grabby pants under the table, obviously, people. I'm talking about touching his hand or touching his arm, making physical contact. Those are the things that say, I'm interested in you.
Yeah.
And the reason is that men are just as insecure as we are. They just wear it in a different way. And so a lot of times we think, oh, they've got it all together. They feel confident. They're not scared. They are terrified.
Yep, that is very true.
And so when you touch his hand or you look into his eyes or you give him a compliment, great tie, oh, you're looking really nice this evening, or whatever it is, that lets him know, oh, she likes me.
Yep.
She's interested in me. And that's important. Because
I completely agree. And, as women, I think we forget that we love to be complimented, but when it comes to complimenting men, we forget they love to be complimented just as much as we do.
Yes. And oftentimes when they disappear to the island of lost men and they don't call and you're wondering why, sometimes they just really didn't know that you're interested in them. I had, a couple of clients have that experience and, they found out later the guy just didn't know that they liked them. The guy's like, oh, I thought you weren't interested. Because they gave off this very neutral kind of, palling around, hanging out energy. Right. There's a big gap in between, oh, I want to sleep with you, tonight energy, and I'm enjoying your company energy. And it doesn't have to be neutral in order to seem like you're not basically crossing the line.
Right. And, touching on the arm is very, very important because it's like you said, it's not going too far, but you're sending a signal that you are interested in him and you actually like him. Or if he says something funny when you touch his arm, it's just reassuring to him. But if you have no contact whatsoever, you're sending the wrong message.
You are. And it gives a little touch of oxytocin too. When you touch him, it gives off that the cuddle hormone is activated, and it's like, oh, it's like a little burst of energy.
Woo-hoo.
And I understand. I mean, in full disclosure, I tend to fall on the prude side of the fence. I have no shame about that, just like we don't slut shame, we don't prude shame. And so, for me, like, that's one of the things that I had to work on because, I would be like, okay, like, I can take my prudish energy too far, even as a passionate living coach.
Right. That's so funny.
Okay, so the next tip, and this is a really, really good one, is that communication is not just talking. It's listening. That sometimes I know that when I'm nervous, I could be sitting there with someone that I've just met and just be talking nonstop. Good communication is asking questions, not in a way where you're interviewing the person and, browbeating them. You don't want to do that either. It's not a talk show like we're doing now. But it's an energy exchange. And so that means getting to know who he is, finding out who this person is. You don't have to, that will take the pressure off you. You don't have to sit there and unveil your whole life story. Leave a little bit of mystery for the future. Nothing is sexier than mystery. And just, get to know the person.
That's such a good point because it's true. And I know everybody's nervous on a first date, and so you tend to talk a little bit more. But it's really, like you said, important to have that balance and equal exchange where you really get to know them. Because I will tell you, my male clients will tell me too. They complain to me that all she did was talk about herself the entire date. She didn't ask me anything about myself. And men will listen, but they're not really hearing everything that you're saying. It comes across as blah, 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 like the Peanuts teacher thing.
Yes, that their brains are literally, like when we feel like, Steven, are you listening to me? No, he's not.
Yeah, he's tuning out.
He's tuning out. His brain can literally only take so much. Like
right.
that it's just, it's a biological thing. And so save the chattiness for your girlfriends.
Exactly.
We love it. Call your good girlfriend and unload all your stuff on her, not on your dates.
That's awesome. I love that. So, do you have any other tips for how to be sexy on a first date?
Okay, so the final tip, this is the big one, is that, just like they told you in kindergarten that it's all, number one, it's all about confidence, just feeling good in your skin. And what you should reinforce to yourself before you go out is, it's just a damn date. Everyone say that with me. It's just a damn date. You're not going there to find out, is he the one? It's not a wedding. This is not, we don't live in a society of prearranged marriages. You're not going to step into the restaurant and a priest is going to come out and marry you. It's just a date. And
exactly.
So the word dating comes from data, meaning information. That you're there to collect information and see if you're interested in a second date. Think about it that way. That you're not there to see, is this the person I want to spend my life with forevermore? This is a person that I want to see if I would like to grant a second date to.
Right. I completely agree. People go in too serious, like, oh, is this my husband? I shouldn't say next husband. I should say husband. So I think that's a really, really good point. And I love that you bring up confidence because I will tell you that my male clients will say that no matter how beautiful a woman is, if she doesn't have confidence about her self-worth and who she is, it's a turnoff to men. So that's really, really important. A woman who is maybe not the supermodel, but is confident and knows her self-worth, a man's going to be attracted to that type of woman over the supermodel who has no confidence. So that's really, really important.
Every time. And when we see those men and we wonder, well, how'd she get him or how he'd get her? 90% of the time it's confidence.
You're absolutely right. So, well, this has been great. So I'd love to ask you one last question. So
Sure.
What's your best dating tip for women?
My absolute best dating tip for women is to get a life, to have your own life first before you decide, okay, I'm going to enter the dating arena. And so, all of the things that you have on your list, if you're looking for someone who is fit, you should be fit. If you're looking for someone financially savvy, you should be financially savvy. If you're looking for someone, that is all educated, you should be educated. And it's not because, everything's got to match up exactly across the board, but like attracts like.
Exactly.
And so if you are, having whatever issues that you're having, that's one thing. Everyone in life goes through things, but make sure that, that the person that you're looking for is a reflection of, that you're a reflection of who you're looking for at that moment.
That's a really, really great point. I love that you said that. Well, that was a great dating tip. So how can our audience find you?
Okay. You can find me everywhere. I am at loveuniversity.us or abiolatv.com. You can also tweet me on Twitter at abiolatv and Facebook at abiolatv. I'm on Google Plus. And basically any social network, if you put in Abiola TV, I am going to come up. And you can find my dating tips also on YouTube.
Gosh, she really is everywhere. She wasn't kidding. And Abiola, tell us about your book that's coming out pretty soon.
So I'm really excited about this project. It's the official Bombshell Handbook of Feminine Power. And we are reclaiming the word bombshell to mean a woman who owns herself. And so, yeah, Marilyn Monroe, she was a bombshell. Halle Berry, she was a bombshell. But this book is for the everyday bombshells, how we can step up our game and live your dream life right now by tapping into your feminine power.
Great. And you have a special offer for our audience, correct?
I do. If you send me an email at kissandtell@abiolatv.com, that's the same email address if you wanted to get in touch regarding coaching or just have an advice question, same email address, and you put in the subject line confidence, you will be put on the waiting list to receive an e-copy of my new book when it is available. And this is a really special offer that I know that, usually when I do these, I give away, like affirmations or something like that. But I'm really wanting to get this book out into the hands of women. It's a textbook of feminine energy. And so that is my offer.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for the generous offer for our audience. And thanks again for being on the show. And to our audience, we do this show once a week. So if you'd like to find our video show, you can go to singleandstilettos.com. Or if you're listening to our podcast, you can also find it on iTunes. And if you would like to get our free report on the top 10 secrets on what attracts a man and what turns him off, you can go to singleandstilettos.com or you can click right here.